Hey guys, welcome back to the video, and it'll be the last video for this campaign. As I don't want to spoil many things and so on, but I kind of like wanted to show what was going on and at the same time some of the items that the character were getting at, and some of the things where the path is technically lying on the background of the character that was implemented sometimes weeks ago, and then today for the new character it was giving a little bit backstory. And now at the same time I went a little bit offline in here just for a minute, just to do this before I go to sleep, and I wanted to actually share some of the background that I think this guy wants to head in Malicos. So let's just get this started. One, they went through a huge roleplay. There was not even a single battle on Tuesday, which was yesterday, right? Making sure my head, which was yesterday, and basically throughout that whole time it was just literally role playing, laughters, worries and stuff like that, because some things happened throughout the role play that made it look like someone did something wrong, but they didn't do anything wrong. In fact, they unlocked a hidden backstory. So they're in a city called Warpole, after they defeated a couple of things and so on that allowed them to get to Warpole. Is the city of the library. They look for their background stories that was in there. They find out that one of the character that disappeared here had the ring of a mimic, cursed it, and they found out later on that the diamond that they sold, the little figure of diamond that they sold, was actually one of the old players who are not here anymore, and he's gone. They sold it to a magical beast, magical creature that collects a certain item and take their essence of it. This same creature has a little brother who is like a rat hermit, and basically allowed one of the character who collected the most of the crystal gain the mystic blade, which was given to Dagon, and Dagon actually sold it for a good amount of price, allowing him to get the ogres of powers, the gauntlets of ogres of power. But at the moment it's a little bit conflicted because Dagon also has the Io Stone for his charisma, which is +2 for the score, which will give him a +1 modifier, but already has 3 attunement. Now these characters are getting pretty good item depending on how good they do. They defeated the Aboleth. They took a while to open the chest, and finally they figured out the secrets of opening the chest. And once they have done so, Dagon definitely got knocked out. Everybody was literally at low health after some things happened because of it. They had gotten a humongous amount of items, and I kind of want to go over that right here. Let me go over the items for it, and this was last time, and then this is right here what the possible chance that they got before they have gotten these items, and here's the ring of mimic and so on. But this is one of the items, and the way that it works is that you are allowed to only pick one item unless the item is kind of a special property, meaning that you can roll for it. So for example, the mystical one, you can only get one item of it, and that's it. You can't get anything else. The Iron Stone was something that you can roll. There were 2 of them in there. Remina got one, which now made her the same power as Dagon in which she had lower score. Now it has the same amount for the Aurora protection, which allowed them to get +4 to their saving throws if they're 10 feet away from that player. 10 feet within that player. The Queen's Feather Dagger, the Random of Defeat, which is a very powerful dagger that turns into a longsword, which the longsword also has the properties of finesse, and it gives you the gaining the feat of an expert crossbow and its proficiency. So your proficiency with hand crossbow, light crossbow, and heavy crossbow, and so on. So one of the characters finally got a tune and so on. And even though they're getting these kind of cool items, you have to always know that once you hit the 3 attunement, anything else that you get that may require attunement is just like hard to choose. So they are getting good items because they actually defeated the Aboleth, so I didn't get the chance. I mean, I showed them the video about doing the dance of the Mystic Equal Death, but they got very close, and if they would have got a hit underwater and been unconscious, you can't hold your breath underwater when you're unconscious, and then you die. you know. At the same time, there are things, verbal components. I think I ruled it a little bit different, but I am going to get it back to normal. Where if you're underwater, you can actually cast spell when it has a verbal component, because again, you can't actually speak underwater unless, I think, maybe if you have water breathing or something that allows you to like breathe underwater, maybe you can. I'm not 100% sure. I still have to go through the rule with that one. The healer took the Mask of the Murder. The Paladin Dagon took the Duality Blade. The other Paladin decided to take the Battering Shield, and there was one Javelin of Mystic Step that was actually rolled upon. That was one of the items. I'm pretty sure now there was a Ring of Finger Gun that no one got. This is actually the same as using the Magic Missile, so it automatically hits if you use it as a bonus action, but some of the players already have better things to do with their bonus action, so it got passed away. And I think, yep, we have the Short Sword of Life Stealing, no one touched it, and at the same time, the Vicious Rapier +1, no one touched it. So these words are technically the items that were given to them. It was something that if there was a good chance that they could have died. So for the good thing of beating the Aboleth and surviving it, I give them that. Now, they definitely got close. I mean, if I rolled any attack that succeeded instead of rolling low, like really goddamn low, then yeah, there would have been at least 2 deaths in there, in that battle. But that actually came out great, and they didn't die. They were very close. And like I said, as a DM, one of the things that I don't do is fudge a roll. If your character dies, and maybe you have to re-roll a new character, or I don't know, maybe if you didn't like that, you may have to find a new campaign. So many times like in a duel, they got into a point where they got into a battle with a duel, and 3 made it. And I showed them the rolls that were really low. I was showing them all the rolls, and when I was rolling high, I showed them the rolls just so they could see it's like no dot, no fudging, no nothing like that. You guys did a great a job on the second battle that happened. It was a duel where someone allowed them to have a type of mystical being that once you defeat him in a 1v1, you can actually harness their power and summon them one time. And it's not like super big or anything like that, but I can't show you that because that also will be on the next campaign with either my friends or someone else that I actually go with. So we're gonna skip into all that right now. We're gonna go back here, and I will explain what happened in the city, which was hilarious. After everybody has talked about their background and everything that was going forward, one of the biggest thing that happened is that the rogue, according to his class, got a little bit jumpy after the gnome show a rock that activates their seal, and that would have been gone to a path where the gnome would have been like, oh my god, the myth is actually true. You know, in all my books that I have written, it's actually true. The Seal of Freedom does actually exist, and blah blah blah. But he was caught off, and Glass went ahead and put a knife through the throat and said, "Whatever you say next, you better be careful, or maybe or maybe be the last word. You have to be very careful of what you say." That prompt, for the first time, that prompt the gnome named Gempup to actually back away after already giving them a job. They're in a classified area where no one can hear about this, and got threatened down there and backed away a little bit. And then he said, "All right, man, you're like, I don't know. I think I when we were speaking outside of the game, he was saying like, oh, this is the bad part. I have to kill him if he becoming too anxious and stuff like that. The problem is that he backed up too far away and snapped the finger behind his back, literally summoning every soldier from the city and coming down, all level 10, 40 soldier, ready to attack the party and so on. The party decided to back away. Everyone put their sword into the air and back away and move away from the city, but the gnome is still a kind person, and you know, even though this incident happened, all this is going to happen is that they're going to be a beef up security like no other else, and he will spend a good amount of fortune on hiring specific guards that definitely can take this party down if they even try to do anything against him. So if there was any chance to actually kill Genpop, it should have been right then and then before he backed up slowly away from the sword. So I mean it's not a bad thing, but you know, it activated one of the prerequisites for the hitting storyline that will happen next week, which is bringing the gnome in a specific area where I just can't say it. I just can't say it. Let's just say that it opens up a new storyline, a background. That storyline was only supposed to be for those who were for the hobo killer class, like people who go to Esamir and start killing the whole country and stuff like that. It meets the prerequisite of what he did because it puts him in a solitude area, working alone, while his assistant comes up and basically if he ever did died or something like that, his assistant will be the new owner and stuff like that. But the guy is safely in an area, you know. The only way to actually get to him, you know, is go through all the guards and stuff like that. So this assistant would take the party back into Warpole and explain all the research that has happened before, such as the myth of the Seal of Freedom being true, where to find a specific ex-god or so on in this world that can help them move forward in the storyline, such and trying to kill either Esamir or Amaranth or whatever they want to do in technicality. And they will see, and I'm pretty sure they don't watch my videos or anything like that, so I'll reveal it right here. They will see something that is hidden in that town that would allow them to, again, to progress with their storyline. So that background is now open, and I am just excited to go through it. And even though, and the most thing is, the guy actually felt like so sorry about that in points, because he thought it was like kind of like a little bit more out of character. So I told him, no, you played it perfectly, and everything is fine. Don't worry about it. Everything fine. You just technically you unlocked a background story, but there's gonna be more beef up security in this town. You guys will be recalled back. Your job did not get canceled and so on. You're still the famous rogue who, you know, hunts whatever item needs to be hunted and so on. So, you know, nothing went bad with it. It's just that it opened up this background, and it's quite funny because during that whole time, even though people kind of like felt like bad, like, oh shoot, we missed something, and the reason that is because my campaign has a lot of things that you can actually miss, but they didn't miss anything in here. They just unlock in your background. So, for example, there was two times that they could have went into a different route, and they would have missed a bunch of treasures and a bunch of items and so on. So that was possible in a way that you can't even come back because something happened that can allow. But think about it like this: it's like taking two portals and you decide to go to the left one and not decide to go to the right portal, and then the left portal triggers the right portal to close completely, and you can now go to the right portal and get the treasures in there. That can happen in my campaign. And for those who might come in the future and, you know, enter my campaign, you have to understand that my campaigns now has RPGs kind of like stuff in it. It has the base completion of a Fable, like all the Fables games in here. Like if you do something, there will be a precaution of it, but it's not gonna like overkill it unless you went too far with it, and then, you know, it would be like if the party went too far and starting attacking the city, they will never be able to return to the city and miss one of the stuff that is in there that is very important to them. I mean, you know, it could be one less thing that they can have that, you know, will make it harder in the last battle fight, but it's not going to be completely game breaking. But again, it will be able to miss. If you go, you have to be careful with your decisions. Basically, on my storyline, it's the same as any D&D, but you know, if you do something, there's a precaution. If you do something, there's a reward, and so on. So it's kind of like Fable if you were to choose which path and so on. But the most hilarious thing in here that happened was it was Malicos at the moment. The city of Metropolis has a place where for now it's 500 gold. I might increase it depending on how my gold is actually spared, because they actually seeing that it's not like other campaign where you only get like 5 gold, 6 gold. One of the guys got up to 8,000 gold by selling the Mystic Blade weapon. These are homebrew. Anything that is not homebrew, like the Wand of War Mage that is like 19, it'll be divided by 3, and that's your gold that you would get. That's still a lot of gold, but if you found that wand and you didn't want it and you sold it, you would get divided by 3, which is still a lot of gold. I think more than 6,000 or so around there. So in here, depending of it, people in the Metropolis are now getting ready for their multi-class. One person went full. One person is already a multi-class, and I don't allow 3 multi-class because it's get really powerful in this game. So Malicos is going sorcerer. The Paladin is going sorcerer, so I think he already saw the build for the Sorkadin, one of the most strongest build in the game. So he's going Sorkadin, and the Ravina is the other Paladin. The female Paladin is actually going with Echo Knight, one of the best pure. I don't know how it works as a subclass or anything like that, but it's still one of the best pure class to fight. Is the most popular right now. So they go in that route, and basically in Metropolis for now they paid about 500 gold and they start training for it. And why am I saying this? Is because this leads to Malicos finally bringing up his character, where the background is starting to be more flavorish for him. And if I actually go right here, what happens is that he chose the sorcerer chronomatic or something like that, chronomatic or some shit like that. And what happens is that I don't think I have to go like this in order to show the whole chat. What happens is that the character now is changing his appearance, and then he's changing his armor. Let me actually go down here. I think I don't know why it showed it like that. It should have been able to go to the newest part and show me like all the written thing. There it is. I'll just scroll all the way down so I get to where it should be, which is they were testing rolls in here with their new weapon. For example, the Duality Blade, piercing damage, necrotic damage, and radiant damage, and so on, which is a really cool, powerful short sword. So okay, so I think it's around here. Malaka is using the timeless of it, and basically he is becoming younger every time. He kind of feels like rolling a D100, which I see what he meant. And basically he becoming, are you now 4-year-old running around the library with Dagon? And he is in here. If I go, I can't actually technically show it, but basically they're running around like freely as getting your character, and then moving right here, you know, they're running all over the place, and that's how his character is being portrayed. And I'm like, that's actually hilarious, because he does have this armor, it's called the Glamorous armor, and it says here, when you use the command, you cause your armor to a certain appearance of a normal set of clothing or some kind of armor. You decide what it looks like, including the color, style, accessory, but the armor retains its normal bulk and weight. The illusory appearance lasts until you use the property again or remove the armor. So he played it different at the beginning. He's actually rolling a D100 and then going to like a child, stuff like that. But now he is going, I think when he wakes up is where he wants to roll a D100, and that will be their age. And we're working up some of the mechanics with this, like if you get too old, like 80 something or something like that, maybe impair movement or something like that, or how should we do the combat. And I am willing to work up with him, which right now, if it goes up, you can actually read it right here. this is actually where it's going upon. It says right here, it's like, this sounds good for you, and I was like, I am all in for it. I like the way that it's being portrayed and so on, and I am willing to roleplay with that the way they want it. So I thought it was goddamn hilarious for it. So I am definitely willing to go for it. So it's actually quite funny because they're jumping. The kid is actually jumping everywhere, and then every time it goes to get to an old, like roll it like a D100 and it gets old, I think something might happen to his memory, and that is just going to be freaking hilarious in the campaign. So in that time in the campaign, there had a supreme amount of laughter. Like, I was actually wondering why they're laughing so hard in chat and in here, and then while I'm speaking to Glass about his backstory and so on, and then I noticed that that's just what he's doing. He's becoming a child, and I thought, I was like, oh wait, that is fantastic. I am definitely going to have fun with that one myself. So that has actually happened. Even and they play so well with each other. Let me tell you right now, the guy went ahead and Glass and put a immovable rod, and I don't think he actually made it immovable, so I think he may have fallen, but it was supposed to be basically you put a movable rod, it can't move, and then the kid could just play up and down on the rod in here. And I think I also made them laugh because it came out of it just came out of nonsense. They were trying to build him go to the city in order to control his power, but I think he doesn't want to go that way. But before that, we said, they asked, can you fix this person? It's like, yeah, another one, my god. Up to my room, just leave him up to my room, and everything will be fine. And that's where it broke at laughter, because I say up to my room, and that is a Ford thing, and that's where I think one of the characters said in D&D, it's like, I didn't know this was a Catholic church. It just fucking went ballistic from there. It's hilarious stuff and all that. So that is actually what's going on, and now I'm just gonna go ahead and go with the items that they're technically holding. I think this one right here is using the Duality Blade, and there's the extension. You can roll it, and it does pretty good damage. Actually, I'm going to be opening that up again one more time just so you guys can see it in action. And let's go for his equipment. Right now he's only at 410 gold. Does have the Ion equipped, but cannot benefit it, so it does not go to +5, so he can actually give everyone the savings in 10 feet away. And they have a pretty good saving. They have only +1, it's called the Seal of Savings. They also gain the +1 to all their ability check. That's the second seal. The third seal, I can't reveal it here just in case someone actually is listening to this video from my group and so on, but the third seal was very close. It's just they missed it by a hair. So right now he's using the Flame Sword Duality Blade. He did have the Mystic Blade in here, but he sold it 6,000 gold and used the remaining gold to buy the Gauntlets of Power, which allowed him to gain the 19 scored in here. So that is that for this guy. He still has all these things in here. Still has the Potion of Speed, which is actually great for whenever the combat comes out. So I can actually roll for him. Oh, I think it's telling me that I didn't actually open this up in here. Don't worry, guys. It's over. The video is almost over. You're almost free home. All right. So there it is. I can grab the Duality Blade. I can roll it. There it is. This will be my whisper to the GM, and right there, he didn't get the Quiet Bay attack. So again, I'm gonna roll like 2 more times, see what happens. Jesus, I don't think he can hit anything with this. Now he is at +7, and he was definitely hitting a lot with his Flame Sword. He was at +5 before. You know, he's +7 now, and so on. But he does have specific strategy to allow him to hit. This one is a 16, most likely. Yeah, that would have definitely hit the boss. Technically, this would have hit the last NPC. This won't actually hit, but the character can, if they want, use their Guiding Strike, which is in the bottom. It gives him like a +10 to it. So if he was going to use like something like this, it will basically I'll ask him to roll the attack, and oops, guess it didn't roll that right there. There you go. So it's here is Channel Divinity, Guiding Strike. So that would be a the D20 +10, and you still have to add +7, which was the 22. So that would definitely hit. Or he can use his Soldier Trinket to allow him to use the bonus True Strike as a bonus action. And what happens is that he will have to go down here, and sorry, not that one. We'll have to go down here, go to Super Advantage, which is rolling 3D dice because of Elven Accuracy, which allow him to roll 3D 20s. Come back here into the battle, and let's actually try both attacks or something like that. Let's go for his Duality Blade in 1 turn, and then he will use his everything else as an offhand weapon. It just doesn't add his modifier because he's not a fighting style or anything like that. So let's go with this for 1 turn, and automatically he's gonna get a 21. See, he rolled a 14, the other one rolled a 8, and now he rolled a 14, and now he gets a +7. So right there, he gets a 21. I said next turn he wants to use his Flaming Sword. Wow, that one right there. And this is the reason why Elven Accuracy and True Strikes and stuff like that, the one that I have for the Soldier's Trinket, it's an amazing combo. Right there, he already critted, so he's using 10 + 6, that's 16. And then he, for his crit for Flaming Sword, it will be 11 + 6 already. And during that time, he can go right ahead and roll at the 2nd level slot. He can roll 6d8 in here, so he can probably go down here real quickly. Advance roll, please. Not sure why it's not opening or anything like that. Maybe it's some of the ad that I have it here. Let me actually make sure that this is actually working by rolling a d20. Yep, not sure what's going on. I'll have to fix this over here. So, okay, fine. We'll use 3d20, 3d8, and then we'll use a, 5d8, and then we'll use real quickly one more. Yep, 1d8. We'll just add that damage. And since it's critting, since it's critting, it's basically double. So 3d8, and there 1, 2, 3. So 25 plus all this as damage. That's amazing right there. Just as a paladin, that's amazing. Would have been awesome if he created more like that during the boss fight, and that's max damage right there. Those 8 right there. So anyway, that is for him, and so on. And he can only use as a Soldier Trinket 2 times per long rest, which is actually nice right here. The next person is Ravina, and she's already has the Blade of the Deep, which was in the battle with the Obelisk, was trying to command it. And you know, when you're trying to speak to an Obelisk in any kind of form, you have to know like their language if you're trying to speak to them. So they thought that she couldn't speak to them because she doesn't know the speech, but the Blade of the Deep one, which was in the mansion way ahead of time before coming to the Obelisk, does know the speech, so definitely could do some charming and stuff like that to it. So it has that. That's a +2. I think I already mentioned that before. Did took the the Ion Stone, which now is at the charisma of 9, +4 to modifier, which now the player can go right ahead and have the same amount of power in the aura protection as Dagon. Has the shield, which pushed her to 19, and still not using using the Animant plate, but still not breastplate, and still not using a plate. Just imagine that. I think I don't know if it gives this is up to a dex or anything. I mean, it doesn't say it. Look at the armor, 16, 19. If it gets a plate, that's 18. That puts the player at 21 if the player get it. But at the moment, the player loved the first item that she got, which was the Adamant armor, can be critted. So it's going to take a long time for that unless they're able to find it, which, to be honest with you, I am not giving that one up freely unless they want to pay the gold for it. Has the potions I already said before. So she actually only took the battering shields, or that's about it. Boop. Going into Glass Shadow, has the Remnant of Defeat, and the way it works in the game for the D&D Beyond is that he actually gets 2 weapons. So he can have the one that is the requirement attunement and so on, and then the other one right here. And what happens is it gets a +1, recalling the war as a free action. You may speak the command word and summon the full spectral blade of this weapon. The dagger turns into a long sword. It deals 1d8 +2 slashing damage when you use one hand, 1d10 +2, and so on. Blah blah blah. All properties of the dagger is all properties of the dagger, light, range, thrown, not finesse, thrown, do not apply. The weapon remains into the form until you speak the command of the word, and you gain the feat of expert crossbow and its proficiencies. So it's a really cool, rare weapon, and he actually wanted and that was because he opened up the chest first and so on doing a specific task that allowed him to get to open up the chest first. And here's the thing is, it's the first long weapon that you will ever find in finesse. So it'll be doing this as a sneak attack. So if he wants to hit with the dagger, he uses the command and it goes into a dagger, can throw the dagger, do everything he wants with it. But if he wants to play with it, he can use the free action to go right ahead and make the sword big. And at that point of time, he can go ahead and attack with a +6, 1d8 slashing damage, or if he's using both hands, 1d10 +3 slashing damage, and so on. So that's why he's keeping at the moment. He is at only 2 of this attunement. If you find something else, because in the future you're gonna find some great stuff, and then you'll be like, oh, Jesus Christ, I don't get to use this and this and this because I'm already attuned. That's the reason why the Ringer Finger, I think it was awesome, because I don't think it required attunement. I have to check it again, but I don't think it did require attunement. So going back to Malicos right here, he already has the grappling hook. And it costs 5,000. He puts it here because I told him ahead of time that if you do sell that is a 5,000. It's a rare homebrew item, and if you don't want it, you can sell it. But it still works great on some of the things that will come in the future, but he doesn't know that. So if he, instead of just getting one thing that he got the Javelin of Misty Steps, which is great, I think I said that in the beginning of the video. But if he wants something like the other than the Queen's Feather Dagger, which again the dagger was form of Feather Queen, blah 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 blah. You have +1 to bonus and attack damage rolls and stuff like that. This weapon contains 3 charges and it regains 1d4 -1 at midnight. When you throw a dagger, when you throw the dagger, you may expend a charge to teleport it as a bonus action and have it in possession once again. So you can actually throw it like that. Additionally, whenever oh wow, I made a misspelling right there. Whenever you are in either dim light or darkness, you can deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage with every hit. So it's amazing dagger, so the player has that, and it did require attunement. So the player is right now already at 3, has an arm blade, so most likely in the future we'll probably trade the arm blade and keep the Queen's Feather, and who knows if he'll keep the Rogue's grappling hook that is made for rogues and so on. So he has that, and he can sell that anytime and get something awesome. I mean, he does have 3,575. That will bring it up to 8,575 gold and allow him to get so many good things in here. The last players who wasn't to be able to join us on Tuesday campaign, but still will keep up with the level with us and the CO progression as well. He's right now resting in the castle, and basically this character is amazing because he does have the a war mage that he got really extremely lucky. I said that in the previous video before, and when you see it, he can hit with a +10 already. He doesn't have to worry about the cleric because almost everything that he only has 1 level in cleric, and everything else is literally on sorcery. So the cleric is the voice authority. And I pretty much explained that before, but you guys can read more about it if you guys wanted to. If one of the oh no, it's still already +4, so it won't matter really, because he already got at 18 charisma. So the Iron Stone, even if he asks for it or anything like that, won't really matter. That gain, it is using the Eminent Plate, which definitely helped him a lot in a battle. It definitely helped him a lot. It missed maybe 3 or 4 times in there, which allowed him to survive many times, and then and now he has this max of murder, which is hilarious. It's hilarious because when you look at it, the one who endures, when one of your allies takes a damage within 10 feet, you can use your reaction to share in their pain. Roll a d20. You instantly heal them this amount to your ally, and then you take the same amount as radiant damage. But what happens? He has resistance to radiant damage, so he can help as a reaction. He definitely can help someone else do survive longer, like the paladins, except the other paladin because it's already radiant damage. But I mean, he still can do that. So it's something pretty cool. But the last one, if he did die, like in a boss battle, which is very important, if he did die, when you die, either instantly or after failing 3 death saving throws, the eyes of the mask will shine bright with a light of 150 radius. Each ally creature in the radius heals for the amount equal to 10 times your character level. However, the Perish Attuned cannot be brought back to life by anything short of a true resurrection spell. The mask then is destroyed forever. Not bad, right? Pretty cool items. And that is technically going to be it, to be honest with you. I'm just going to show you one thing that he has right now, and that just, I'm going to use a spell, and I am going to use, let me see if he has anything that is a attack. I know he does. He has it as an action. He has some Ray Frost in here, and he has Shocking Grasp as well. So I'm going to cast this, I think, see how it works. There it is. And oh, I have that on super advantage, don't I? You always gotta come back here and take it back, put it to normal roll. And so I'm gonna do like maybe 3 attacks just to see how good his attack is. 4 attacks just to see how good his attack is. So let's go to right here. He has a 17 that definitely hit most of them. 22 that hits. 19 that hits. This was a really low one. He rolled a 6 and still got a 16 on that, so it's not really that bad. It's pretty awesome and cool. So that's actually going to be the end of this video. No more spoilers or anything like that, because again, it's going to be something that's going to work for my other campaigns, and thus I don't want to like